Hello, this is Jeff at Magical Fruit Toots. In this tutorial, I will show you how to view attribute tables in order for you to find and stylize map features. Attribute tables are a tabular representation of map features and attributes. They can be gigantic in size. For example, the attribute table for Chicago metro area, Metro Extract's polygons shapefile, has about 950,204 rows or features. That's almost 1 million features. The South Bend, Indiana custom extract polygons table has only 17,156 rows or features. So you can see that your computer would have to work a lot less harder for the smaller file. Your computer may slow down or hang up when processing larger shapefiles. If you are working with MapZen Metro extracts, I recommend always using a custom extract. Even if you are working with a big city like Chicago, already has a Metro extract area, it is still a good idea to use the sizing handles to download only the area you need as a custom extract. In other words, why download more than you need when it will only slow you down? This will significantly reduce the size of your shapefiles and make life easier for you and your computer. There are many ways that you can explore the attribute tables from your map. A spreadsheet program such as Microsoft Excel, the ArcGIS Explorer Desktop application, the QGIS Desktop program. You can use Microsoft Excel to inspect shapefile attribute tables. Note that Excel 97 through Excel 2003 only support a maximum of 65,536 rows. Later versions support up to 1,048,576 rows. So if you have a very large Metro extract, it may not fit in Excel. To be safe, we don't want to accidentally overwrite the database file. So first make a copy of the DBF file for the shapefile you are working on. Paste the copy. Then rename the copy temp South Bend polygon.dbf or something like that. Open Microsoft Excel and then select File Open. Browse to your project shapefile directory and point to the temporary DBF file you just made. If it doesn't appear, select All Files as the file type. Open it. An Excel table will open. Column A will represent the map features. For South Bend, there are 17,157 features or rows. The header row on top will represent the attributes of each specific feature. There are about 60 attributes or columns. To make things easier to work with, you should select All by clicking the little box on the upper left corner as demonstrated. Then choose Format, Auto Fit, Column Width. This will vary depending on your version of Excel, but should be possible in most versions. The idea is to minimize the column widths to make it easier to work with the spreadsheet. Now that you have the spreadsheet, let's say you want to show the shape of the city of South Bend. Many features have the name attribute. There are more than 17,000 rows that could have a name in the name column. So let's sort the name column. We need to be very careful that whenever we do a column sort, that the entire spreadsheet is selected. If it isn't, it could completely mess up the data. That is another reason we are working with a copy of the DBF file. Drag the slider to where the name column is in view. To select the entire spreadsheet, if it already isn't selected, click the little corner box on the top left of the spreadsheet. Then choose Data, Sort. Your version of Excel may differ. A dialog box appears. Make sure that the My Data Has Headers box is checked. Then click the Column Sort By drop-down. Scroll down to the name column. Click OK to sort. Click any cell in the spreadsheet to turn off the sheet selection. At this point, the name column is sorting in ascending order. Those attributes with no name value are at the bottom, so you don't need to scroll down any further than necessary. At this point, you can scroll down the name column and find what you're looking for. Or you can use Excel's Find and Select to do a column search. Click the AE above the name column to select the column. Now locate the Find and Select on your version of Excel. On mine it falls under the Home tab. Then choose Find. In the Find What box, enter South Bend. If you check Match Entire Cell Contents, the search will only find those cells with South Bend in them and nothing else. If Match Entire Cell Contents is not checked, the search will find any cell that has South Bend as any part of the name. Using Microsoft Excel can be an effective way to view your attribute table and find the attributes you need. The ArcGIS Explorer Desktop is free Windows software from ESRI, who were the inventors of the shapefile format. More features are available in Pro versions, which are not free. Explorer is an excellent tool to use when working with GIS or geographic information files. I use it a lot. Open the program. It should open with the Home tab enabled. Optionally, choose the Base Map option and choose the Openstreetmap base map. Next, click the Add Content option. Then choose Shapefiles for content type. A Browse dialog will open. Browse to your project directory where the uncompressed shapefiles are located. Choose the shapefile. In this case, I chose the South Bend Polygons shapefile. The content of the shapefile will appear as a transparent color over the South Bend OpenStreetMap base map. Finally, choose the Tools tab, then click the Attribute Table option. An attribute table will appear. To search for the South Bend in the Name attribute or column, drag the slider to the right until you see the Name column. The columns are shown alphabetically from left to right. Click on the Name column, and the column will sort alphabetically. However, blank cells or values will be sorted in front of those with content. So you need to scroll down to see the start of the cells with content. Here I scroll down to South Bend. If I click the little triangle mark on the left area of South Bend appears on the transparent overlay. This is a really nice feature. You can also click on a feature of the map, and the information on that feature will appear. For example, here I click on a green area of the map. A box pops up with two feature names. University of Notre Dame du Lac will be one of them since the feature is within the university campus. The other is Notre Dame Golf Course. If you click on it, you will see the OSM ID value, the leisure attribute value of golf course, and the name attribute value of Notre Dame Golf Course. If you are looking for that course, you wouldn't even need to look at the attribute table. You could just click it on the map and find it. A link to the ArcGIS Explorer Desktop is in the description or project files area. The attribute table tool works fine, except it tends to crash with extremely large shapefiles. Getting the program up and running can be a problem. Check the minimum system requirements. Make sure you have the latest display drivers. You should have the Microsoft Internet Explorer on your computer before installing. When starting the program, if you have Microsoft Internet Explorer running in the background or set as the default browser, it might help. The first time you open the program, prepare to wait a long time before it actually opens. It is worth the hassle. If all else fails, I restart my computer, open Internet Explorer, then run the program, and it works. The QGIS Desktop is an open-source, cross-platform program. that allows you to do almost anything you need to do with GIS data. I have used it to convert Openstreetmap OSM files to shapefiles. I have styled entire maps with it instead of using TileMill. I believe that it has the best free viewer editor for attribute tables. There are many plugins available to augment the features. Large metro area shapefiles that crash ArcGIS attribute tables seem to work fine with QGIS. To open a shapefile attribute table, in the browser panel, browse to your shapefile. In this case, I am using the South Bend, Indiana polygon shapefile downloaded from mapzen.com as a custom extract. Choose the shapefile, then double-click it. The file will appear in the Layers panel, and a graphic representation of it will appear on the canvas. Select the file in the Layers panel. Right-click it and choose Open Attribute Table. An attribute table will pop up. Let's look for Notre Dame University. Drag the slider to the right until the Name attribute column is in view. Click on the top of the Name column. A grayed out up symbol will appear by the name. That means the column is sorted by ascending values. Click it again and you will see a grayed out down symbol. Now the column is sorted by descending values. Now scroll down until you find the University of Notre Dame du Lac. Another way you could find it is to do a field filter. Choose the Show All Features drop-down. Then select Field Filter. Choose Name. Type in University in the entry bar. Click the Apply button. All values in the name column that have university in them will appear. So you can see that the second row contains University of Notre Dame du Lac, which is the name we're looking for. Here is a tip for you. If you have the attribute table open and you click on the canvas to move or resize it, the attribute table disappears. It is now hiding behind the screen. There are two ways to work around this. If you have multiple monitors, drag the attribute table to a second monitor. Or you can dock the attribute table by choosing Settings, Options, Data Source, and check the Open Attribute Table in Dock window checkbox. Now when you open an attribute table, it appears docked on the bottom of the screen. A link to the QGIS program is in the description or project files. It seems there are a lot of different languages supported. There are downloads for Windows, Mac OS X, Linux, BSD, and Android. I usually always choose the most stable release. This concludes the tutorial. Thanks for watching.